When protests against the Syrian regime started in March 2011, no one could have predicted a war that would span the next 6 years. Since then, more than 400,000 people are estimated to have been killed. More than 1.9 million others have been wounded. More than 6 million people have fled the country, and 6.6 million others have been internally displaced. These last two figures account for about half of the country's pre-war population. A brutal crackdown by the regime failed to stop the demonstrations. Protests turned into an uprising, and Bashar al-Assad refused to talk.
There is no political settlement with those who take up arms and kill. But we want a political settlement and hope the army will be able to return to their barracks as quickly as possible.
As the Syrian regime continued to attack its own people, members of the military defected. Ceasefire attempts came and went, and the country slid towards what most people feared, civil war. Efforts to find a solution failed, and more groups began to join the conflict. In May, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah confirmed what everyone had suspected. His fighters were inside Syria alongside regime forces. And in June, Daesh took control of Raqqa and made it its de facto capital. The group's expansion and attacks in the West eventually led to US intervention in Syria.
Last night, on my orders, America's armed forces began strikes against ISIL targets in Syria.
And it wasn't just the US. All of these countries became involved in airstrikes in Syria. But the most important of them was Russia. Vladimir Putin's intervention in Syria turned the tide of the war, something that became clear with the fall of Eastern Aleppo, the last major urban stronghold of the opposition, in December 2016. The Assad regime now seems more secure than ever since the uprising began. On the opposition side, Turkey has been a major sponsor. The Turkish-led Operation Euphrates Shield allowed the Syrian opposition to push Daesh out of parts of northern Syria. But it's also brought them into confrontation with the YPG, a group that's backed by the United States, which now adds a further level of complexity to a conflict that continues to rage on. Abubakr al Shamahi, TRT World.